We watched it last night, and it went further and further and further. And you thought, oh, I had no idea it was going to happen, and it really was quite shocking, but very well done.
Yeah, thank you. We've been quite anxious about this coming out because when we read the scripts, it went further for us than we imagined it would. We knew this was a coercive control relationship and storyline. We didn't know it was going to get to this. And I did air my concerns about how we would be able to show it, but I think the director, Nicky Lister, pitched it perfectly.
At what point did you air your concerns? When you were shooting it?
No, well, interestingly, we don't normally rehearse, OK? We get on set, we say our lines and we shoot it.
Yeah.
But because of the nature of this and because it was so physical, we had a day where we rehearsed and we had a fight director in, Sarah, who was brilliant. And that day, Nicky filmed it so she could go back to compliance and say, this is what we want to do. And I watched it back and was like, that's quite heavy.
Yeah.
And we go out at 7. I have kids, I get it, you know, and I worry about how this will affect people. But it's more implied than shown.
Yes.
And I think that's how it's managed to go
Well,
out.
and the director, I think this is what he said, you can't half tell a story.
Yeah, it's a woman, actually,
It was
Nicky.
a woman, yeah.
Yes, which was great. She's right. I said to her, are we going to be able to show this? We're spending so much time and effort on this. And she said, if we're not telling it properly, there's no point telling it at all.
And there was a warning before the show
Yes.
went out, and afterwards all those important outlines were
Yep.
put up at the end of the screen, and telling stories like this, as we know on this show, when we talk about these subjects, it does make a big difference, and lots of people get in touch, and it eventually goes on to help people, which is very important. What reaction have you had since last night? So if you were nervous about it before, what was the reaction?
Mixed, very mixed. There's been a real sort of cross-section of people saying this is brilliant, you're tackling this, and this is what soap is about, is telling relevant, important stories that affect people out there. We reflect real life. But there's also the side of it was too early. Now, Ian McLeod very cleverly last week said, this will end in rape. This episode ends in rape. So you're forewarned, and so that's why he put it out there, because I'm not a big one for spoilers going out before the event, but in this case I think it was important. So it's been mixed, and Women's Aid have said often after this sort of thing we get a spike in reports, and I got a message last night and that's what she said, we expect that after this going out, so that's incredible.
And the thing is also that people stop you in the street and say, oh, you should get out of that relation, get out of that relationship, but in reality it's just not that easy.
No, and that's what I had a lot, actually, is, oh, you need to leave him, you need to get out. Rhona's a smart, clever, professional mother, and here she is. If you'd have told her 2 years ago she'd be in this position, she'd never believed it, and that's why it's been so brilliant. The story has crept up on the audience and on her, and that's why it's worked, I think, because they've given it the space to breathe. And yeah, you know, she's found herself in a situation that's just awful.
So tonight, the episode, we can watch the next episode tonight. Where does this leave them? Because you say actually the scenes that are coming up, and it's his reaction to what he's done, is actually really like some of the toughest stuff yet.
You're so right, Holly. This is what I think tonight the playing was harder than what we shot last night in a way, because of how Pierce reacts. You expect an apology or I can't believe I did that, and that doesn't come. I won't spoil it by saying what does come, but it's quite surprising. There's no more violence. There's but it is it's worse in a way. So yeah, it's the writers have been amazing on this.
Well, I think we can go so far as to say, because it is, you have done it so well and so real, it does reflect a lot of the stories that we've discussed here, that he manages to apparently twist it round and make it appear to be your fault.
She feels guilty.
Yeah.
She feels like, not that she deserves this, but she's brought this about. She's seen signs and she's ignored them, and she's defended him and she's pushed her friends away, and here she is on her own. And where does she go from here?
Yeah,
tough,
that's the question, isn't it?
Tough to work through something like this, especially when you've got to learn your lines at home. But the great thing is that Jonathan Rather, who is Pierce, who's a brilliant baddie
and the nicest
and a
man
lovely
as well.
guy.
I mean...
He because he lives on the other side of the Pennines, he stays with you guys, doesn't he?
Yes,
so,
he comes
so you
and
can
has
run your lines and
sleepovers,
stuff.
and we have
your
dinner
husband's
together.
is Jeff Hordley, who plays Kane.
Yes.
So if there was ever a group of people to sit down and work through, you know, this and understand it, it's going to be them.
Yeah, totally.
And Jeff as well.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff's brilliant. He's been through big storylines in the past, and, you know, hilariously, Nicola Stevenson, who played Tess, Jeff and her went to school together, so she used to come and have sleepovers as well. It's quite good fun at our house, you know. And Jeff's a brilliant cook, so, yeah, Johnny and I just sort of hang out and run lines. It gives us an opportunity to do more work. So, yeah, it's great.
Wow, brilliant.
Well done. We'll be watching tonight to see all this fallout. I mean, it's extraordinary storyline, so well done. And well done to everybody up at Emmerdale.